Maisha ya familia yetu. Kipindi hiki kinaletwa kwenu na utume wa familia wa Msalaba Mtakatifu Dandora. Familia inayosali pamoja, huishi pamoja.
Naam, kwa kweli kabisa, familia inayosali pamoja huishi pamoja. Hujambo msikilizaji, usiku wa leo tumsifu Yesu Kristo na kukaribisha kwenye kipindi chetu cha maisha ya familia yetu, ikiwa ni tarehe 25 mwezi wa 7 mwaka wa 2021. Tunalo kila sababu la kumwambia Mwenyezi Mungu asanti, manake mwezi umeweza kukamilika, na hii ndio Jumapili ya mwisho ambayo tutakuwa nanyi kwenye studio, ukiwa ni siku ambayo hautaweza kuipata tena kwenye maishani mwako. Kwa hivyo kila wakati ndio maana tunaambiwa rejoice always, rejoice always. Natumai umekuwa na wiki njema, hii ikiwa ni Radio Waumini 88.3. Majina yangu ni Samuel Washira Kigondo, nafanya na utume wa familia. Pia nitakuwa na ratibu kipindi cha usiku wa leo. Leo ikiwa ni Jumapili ya 17 ya wakati wa kawaida mwaka ba. Kila wakati huu mwezi tumekuwa tukizungumzia kuhusu uaminifu. Jinsi gani umeweza, jambo gani ambalo umeweza kufanya mwaka wa Julai, mwezi wa Julai, kuongea kuhusu ama kufanya ama kutenda kuhusu uaminifu. Kwa hivyo ndugu msikilizaji, tunalo kila sababu la kuwa waaminifu kwenye maisha yetu. Kabla sijaendelea na kipindi chetu, tutaendelea na kumwombea Mheshimiwa Patrick Peyton CSC ili kuwa mwenye heri, na tuzidi kumwombea manake yeye aliweza kuanzisha utume wa familia na kutuonyesha kwamba msingi wa sala ni jambo la maana kwenye maisha yetu. Kwa jina la Baba, la Mwana na Roho Mtakatifu, amina. Bwana wetu Yesu Kristo, Padri Patrick Peyton CSC aliyatoa maisha yake ya ukuhani kuimarisha familia duniani kwa kualika wasali pamoja kila siku, hasa rozari. Ujumbe wake huo ni muhimu kwetu leo kama ulivyokuwa wakati wa maisha yake duniani. Kwa hiyo tunakuomba umkubali afikie daraja la kuwa mwenye heri, ili Wakristo waamini duniani kote wazidi kukumbuka ujumbe wake kwamba familia inayosali pamoja huishi pamoja. Waige mfano wake wa kujitolea kwa mama yako na mama yetu Bikira Maria. Hatimaye wakukaribie katika maisha yao yote kwa ujasiri na upendo. Tunaomba hayo yote kwa njia ya Kristo Bwana wetu. Amina. Kwa jina la Baba, la Mwana na Roho Mtakatifu. Amina. Kipindi hiki ndugu msikilizaji kinaletwa kwako kwa hisani ya utume wa familia kutoka Dandora, ambao wanahifadhiwa na shirika la Msalaba Mtakatifu. Tunahimiza na kusaidia, we inspire, promote and foster the prayer life and the spiritual well-being of families throughout the world. Also, we are helping families throughout the world to pray together and to live together. Kiini cha huu mwezi imekuwa ni uaminifu. Uaminifu kwenye jamii, uaminifu kwa jambo lolote ambalo unaweza kufanya. Na usiku wa leo tutaweza kuzungumzia kuhusu uaminifu kwenye maisha ya kisasa, ama faithfulness in the current lifestyle. Is it possible, depending with the life that we are living, is it very possible to be faithful? Tukijua kuna corruption, tukijua kuna mambo ambayo tunaangalia kwenye maisha yetu. Basi kwenye studio siko peke yangu, na ningependa ambaye tuko naye aweze kujitambulisha, tuweze kujua yeye ni nani. Karibu.
Asante sana kwa program hii ambayo tutaendelea kuzungumziana na wapendwa wetu wasikilizaji. Kwa majina ninaitwa Seminarian Cosmas Mutuku wa shirika la Msalaba Mtakatifu. Asante.
Karibu sana Seminarian. Najua umeweza kutuandalia mengi kuhusu uaminifu kwenye maisha ya kisasa, ama mtindo wa maisha wa kisasa. Kwa hivyo ndugu msikilizaji, last time tuliweza kuwa na Seminarian Joachim Ganda CSC ambaye bado ako kwenye shirika la Msalaba Mtakatifu. Basi tunaendeleza ili tuweze kujua seminarian Cosmas ataweza crown the whole of faithfulness in the current lifestyle. We see as much as catechist Barnabas alikuja akaweza kuzungumzia kuhusu uaminifu katika familia na pia kwenye community, jinsi gani tutaweza sasa kuongea kwa ujumla pia kuhusu uaminifu. Kwa hivyo tunapoenda kwa moja kwenye mdahalo wetu, tutaanza na swali la kwanza ambalo jinsi gani seminarian utaweza kutupa muktasari kwa ujumla kuhusu uaminifu tukiangalia maisha ya kisasa.
Well, asante sana. Nitatumia sana Kizungu na pia Kiswahili kidogo.
Okay.
Na if it is true that in the past 3 weeks we've had discussions, different discussions about faithfulness and fidelity, and we've understood fidelity in a very general way. We've understood fidelity with God, fidelity in the society, even personal fidelity. Na ni muhimu kuendeleza hayo mazungumziano kuhusu uaminifu, na hasa kujiangalia sisi wenyewe na kujiuliza, je, katika wakati huu ambao tunaendelea kuishi, tuwawezaje kuhimiza njia za kiaminifu katika maisha ya kwetu? Na kwa hivyo swali ni, kama hayo yote tumeweza kuzungumziana kwa wiki 3 zilizopita, what is new that we need to still hear about fidelity? And maybe we shall just continue with that deliberation, na pia just to put a new insight in what we know, kwa sababu naelewa fika kwamba watu wengi wanajua maana ya mambo mengi, lakini kila mara tukisikia jambo twajikumbusha tu, si kwamba hatufahamu, na tunaweka ladha mpya kidogo. Kwa hivyo nitasema kwamba upendo ni kiini sana katika uaminifu. Love is the key to fidelity according to me, because you cannot be faithful to that which is not dear to you. You only can keep fidelity to that which is lovely, with that which is dear to you, kile ambacho wakipenda na kile ambacho wakieka katika moyo wako na wakidhamini sana. So I'll say, where there is love, there is true commitment, there is sacrifice involved. Kwa sababu katika uaminifu ni safari ambayo lazima iwe sana inaonyesha kwa kipekee upendo wetu, expression of our love, and we cannot express our love unless we are ready to sacrifice something. So this is true fidelity with the foundation. Na kwa hivyo it is true that faithfulness and fidelity is the key to the inner freedom and happiness. That's how I'll put it, because if you are unfaithful, you live a slave to fear of being found. You are afraid of a lot of things. Lakini when you keep fidelity, when you are faithful to matters in life, you become free, you become liberated, and you can go about life in a very happy way. And it is unfortunate that fidelity has been narrowed down to almost 2 aspects of life. That is to marriage, and maybe fidelity or faithfulness to religion or God. And the question is, what about all the other spheres of life? Because all around us, the question of fidelity is indispensable. We cannot do away with that. We feel like we are masters of all others, profession, people working under us, and a lot of things. And we only feel like we need to be faithful when it comes to marriage, when it comes to God. But that is not the case. So we are corrupting the minds even of the little ones, that unfaithful matters to those small things does not mean anything. Na hiyo ndio society ambayo tunaendelea kukuza, ambaye si nzuri sana. And however, it is true that when you tell your child to go and lie to a teacher, you are also teaching them how they will relate with you later, or how their lives will become lives of unfaithfulness. They will cheat even to you in days to come, because that is what you've taught to them.
Very true.
So, way of faithfulness will do no evil. It avoids wickedness, sows not in the furrows of injustice, but rather it also seeks no honor, but right. It tells no lie, is mindful of the Lord. It does not esteem oneself over others, but rather a faithful person keeps the way of the Lord in all matters, and humbles his pride, for he is aware that what awaits man are worms. Baada ya maisha yetu ni kifo na kuliwa na mchwa. We don't have a lot
Yeah.
that should keep us unfaithful to matters. Yes.
Wow. And I love that the explanation of the first question, but also maybe to reflect more deeply, do you think it's really possible or practical in today's society to be truly faithful, depending with the society that we are living?
Well, it is true that the society today is decayed with unfaithfulness, with anger, with pain of heartbreak, and a spirit of betrayal and vengeance. We are seeking revenge. And it is worrying. We are not safe in our hearts while our spouses are out there. Ukiwa bwana yako ama bibi yako ametoka nje, you're not sure whether they'll come back the same people that left the house. We are not even safe whether our children are truly in school. Actually, sometime I visited a particular school and I was amazed that they have introduced a biometric stuff at the entrance. As you enter in, you put on your finger. As you leave, you also do that. And at the end, that sends a message to the parent that that child has entered school at this time and has left school at this time. What does that notify us or signify to us? It shows one thing, that we are turning. In our lives, we are becoming so unfaithful that we are not even sure whether my child has gone to school. Yes, they have left the house, but they may not be in school. So it is a question that really is becoming, it's raising a lot of dilemma to many people. And it is also true that in the today's society, even our employees can't be up to the task unsupervised. Because you leave them, they start doing their own private stuff. And every vessel of faithfulness in our today's society and interaction is threatened, if not yet broken. However, I'm sure we are not happy living in such a bleeding society of unfaithfulness. Definitely not.
Yes.
So, being unfaithful is being untrue to God, being untrue to ourselves, being untrue to the society and to others. And I'll address this question in this way. The root cause of unfaithfulness for me, I think, is selfishness and greed. The ubinafsi na tamaa ambapo it is about me and me and me. I look unto myself and that which is beneficial to me, that which fulfills me, that which makes me happy, without looking into the other, without minding of whether what I do or not do affects another person.
Yes.
So, I believe that it is possible to kukuza fidelity and faithfulness in the today's society, but that needs a genuine commitment to faithfulness. We must guard our hearts and desire that which is good for all is to be pursued. And I love the scriptures. When you read Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23 onwards, it will teach us that with the closest custody, guard your heart, for in it are the sources of life, and put away from you dishonest talk and deceitful speech. And it moves on. For me, guarding your heart against every evil, because it is the source of life, that becomes the key and the source on which we are to approach if we are to nurture and keep fidelity in the today's society that is already corrupted. So our heart is the source of life for sure, and we must guard it. The apparent impossibility to be honest today in the today's society is because our hearts are broken. They are badly wounded. And every human being desires to be treated right, with dignity, with respect, with love, with some esteem, and surely to be served with justice. But we are broken. Many are deeply hurting. That the only thing that they can give is fumes of anger, of vengeance, often unconsciously. We are not aware of what is happening around us, but the fact is, because of the wounds within us, we've gone too wild that we are offering that which we have in our hearts, because the heart is the source of life. And thus, for us to be able to respond to this question, whether it is possible to be faithful and keep fidelity today, it is to be able to heal ourselves I love Martin Buber. He writes a book about I and thou, me and you, and the otherness of the other. Looking at the image of the other as a human, not as an it, not an object, but a subject. So if we look at life that openly, we should be able to respect one another, and only faithfulness, if we seek our healing, can be a priceless gift to us. And therefore, this we can do even in the today's society. I love being optimistic, very positive minded, regardless the situation that are surrounding us, regardless all the troubles that people are going through, regardless the struggles. There is a reality that being positive and project ourselves that it is possible, that which I wish to be given. And it is the same question I will ask. You would love to be shown rightfully the way of justice by another. You would love your spouse to be very faithful and committed. Why not me reverse that? So it will come if we are able to move out of ourselves and look at the other as important, and not only there will be nerves of me and myself and I, but the other is important. We are able to beat this current that is raising too high, but we hold deeply and strongly onto the principles of the Christian values and virtues.
Wow, ndugu msikilizaji, mengi seminarian ameweza kusema, na kwa kweli it is very possible for us, for me and you, to be faithful in this such a generation. And one thing I like is bringing out the selfishness that is occupying our hearts, and we are not that selfless in our lives. We are just, it's me and it's me. So ndugu msikilizaji, tunaporudi kwenye awamu ya pili, tutaweza kujua mengi. Je, jambo hili linapendeza Mwenyezi Mungu ama halimpendezi? Sijui kama linampendeza, basi seminari anataweza kutuambia tunaporudi awamu ya pili. Unasikiliza Maisha ya Familia Yetu, kipindi kinacholetwa kwako na Utume wa Familia wa Msalaba Mtakatifu Dandora. Na kwa kweli ndugu msikilizaji, na kushukuru unapochukua muda wako kuweza kutusikiza kwenye Radio Waumini, ambapo unaweza kupata mafunzo tofauti kupitia nguzo tatu ambazo ni familia, sala na imani. Also hapa ndio unaweza kupata mafundisho ambayo ina inspire, promote and foster the prayer life and the spiritual well-being. Kuna mahali pengine utaipata ila kwa Maisha ya Familia Yetu, kipindi kwa hisani ya Utume wa Familia. Tukirudi kwako seminarian, karibu tena kwenye awamu ya pili. Umeweza kutuelezea kwa kweli uaminifu unawezekana kwenye society ambayo tunaishi, lakini tukilenga kuishi upendo ambao unafaa na kuishi honestly, selflessly, not like we are selfish, we are greedy. Kwa hivyo tunapoangalia hayo yote, maybe uaminifu tukiangalia kwa undani, does it matter whether we are faithful or not tukiwa kwenye jamii?
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful question. Does it really matter? Nadhania hilo swali nitakwambia kweli, it does matter a big deal, a very big deal. Because kwanza it brings about the serenity of mind. It also brings about the true respect. When you're faithful, you earn your respect. He's trustworthy. Hakuna kitu kinapendeza kama mtu aseme, that man, that woman, that lady, that boy, you can trust him. You can give this responsibility to this kwa sababu ni mwaminifu. So it does matter a big deal because it impacts on our reputation and also the connections. It is also a foundation of friendship and relationships. Genuine friendships will be built on faithfulness and fidelity, truthfulness. Naweza nikakuamini, leave alone dedicating to you or trusting you with material things. Can I trust you even with my own heart? That is a question that we need to reflect on and to understand. So it does matter a big deal because it gives us also a sense of security, peace, and freedom of heart and mind. wakati ambapo utajihisi kwamba we ni mwaminifu, and every time you are walking out there you are not thinking just about yourself. Ukiambiwa, ukionyeshwa a very good deal to do a corruption and you be able to earn your 5 million, you are able to reflect back, what if I do this and I am caught? What becomes of my children? Their reputation, my wife, their reputation, their way of life, their mindset is affected. So in a downer level, you will forgo this particular opportunity that is giving you a lot because it is corrupt, and stand for the truth to protect your own image and the image of those who are most closely to you, those who are your most dear ones, and you will mind and care about them. So it also matters because it is a way of modeling the little ones.
Yes.
Ukiwa baba ama mama, ama ukiwa unaangaliwa katika environment ama society, na uwe mwaminifu. A lot of times you hear, kwa nini msiwe kama mtoto wa so and so? Kwa nini msige mfano wa fulani na fulani? So you become a role model to others. So it does matter. And also it is important because it meets with our religious convictions and our principles. It makes us stand out. If you cannot be faithful and you call yourself a Christian, what are we going to desire about your way of being a Christian? Jesus stands true even to death. So it does matter that we stand true to the extreme of enduring pain and shame for God when we are truthful. Asante.
Wow. Ndugu msikilizaji, maybe at times you think faithfulness does not matter in our lives, but it really matters. Could you be experiencing some negative words from people? Maybe this person, I cannot be able to trust him in this task, then it's the right time to reflect on yourself, to check on yourself, and it's the right time also to take a U-turn. And at least people can speak something new, something positive that they can trust, and in whichever task that you have been given. So does it really, you see, at the first point tumeweza kuona it really matters about faith, or whether we are faithful in this society. But is it a bother to God when it comes to faithfulness? And also, is it, maybe, let me just ask, is it a bother to God whether we are faithful or not?
Does it really bother God?
Yes,
that's a beautiful question.
Yes, does it really bother God?
It's amazing. I don't know whether you remember the serpent's question to Eve in the Garden of Eden. Wakati anakuja anamuuliza, did God really say this? It's a very seductive question. It's a very seductive way of people leading us astray. Because a lot of times you hear those statements among the youth people, that doesn't matter. That doesn't bother God.
Yes.
God doesn't care about these little matters. And you hear, our God is such a great God. He's so merciful and all that. And it's so seductive to be able to lure people into what we believe or what we want them to be lured into. But I'll tell you, it is true we have an amazing God. And it is good to think about, to reflect on His word. And I'll reflect on this, the Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16 to 19. What does it say? There are 6 things the Lord hates. Yes, 7 are an abomination to Him. Haughty eyes, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that plots wicked schemes, feet that run swiftly to evil, the false witness who utters lies, and he who sows discord among brothers and sisters in that case. So it really does matter to God whether we are faithful or not. But maybe the bigger question actually is not whether God bothers or not. I think the bigger problem that we have is that we are becoming less conscious of God in our own lives. We no longer reflect about the life of God within us and with us. We no longer ask the question, does what we do hurt God or does it please God? Are we appealing to, are we making ourselves presentable and holy and blameless before God? So I'll say that God craves for us. We are precious to God. We are very special and most beloved of God. Yet, He has given us the freedom to choose. And in our choices, a lot of times we choose what hurts him. We hurt God so deeply. We constantly hit again and again on the nails that put Jesus on the cross. We continually crucify him, and we are becoming insensitive and indifferent in our life that is so corrupt in today's society, and we no longer care and worry about God. So I think the religious values and principles, even our African values and principles, do send us a message, a strong message about fidelity and faithfulness, to be able to heal. For example, we value Christianity and African tradition values so deeply the value of chastity, the value of rather abstinence. But today the young people, you tell them about abstinence, they look at you and they're like, which world do you come from?
Yeah.
So that is where we've reached. So the question is, does what we do please God, or does it constantly hurt God? So why should we hurt God the more? Let us seek transformation and listen to God, because it matters to God. He cares about us. He wants us more than anything in this world.
So, our dear listeners, this means that it really bothers God whenever we fall to be unfaithful. Tunapoangalia watu wengi wanatamani kuwa waaminifu, jinsi ambavyo umeweza kutueleza Seminarian Cosmas, lakini wanahisi wana changamoto kama umaskini, changamoto kama shida za maisha, kama saizi kuna ugonjwa wa corona. Kunazo hizo changamoto, lakini mtu akona ile desire, the spirit is willing but the flesh unapata inamkanganya tu kidogo hapo. What advice could you advise such a person?
The advice that I'll offer, it is good always to seek a foundation or a basis for what we stand for. It is good to have something that we can die for. In this case, if we can be able to stand by our values and principles, we are safe in a way. And I'll say this. When you read Romans chapter 12 from verse 1 and 2, it says, I urge you therefore, brothers and sisters, by the mercies of God, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God, as a spiritual worship. Do not conform yourself to this age, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that you may discern what is the will of God, and what is good and pleasing and perfect. Now, the challenge that we have today, and what is leading us into feeling that, yes, we are pushed into the world, but why should we normalize that which is evil, even if we are reaching unto the world? The desire must be genuine. That is the advice I'll give. To please God, not people. And this means to seek His grace. Unless we are founded on true convictions, principles that cannot be corrupted, we cannot stand the test of time. And love for God above all things, and accepting graciously suffering, pain and shame with God. And I'll say this, at one moment, I'm in a prayer, you ask God, why the suffering, why the pain? And I tell you, God responds so genuinely. When you are young, you feed on milk. Why do you still want to feed on milk when you are an adult? You will not get satisfied. You need bony food. So, when we are young in the Christian faith, small challenges are enough for us. But as we mature and grow in faith, we expect to meet more challenges, and the way of Christianity, it is the way of suffering and pain with Christ. Accepting Jesus and letting Him be a model for us. Jesus shows us the journey of Christianity from the beginning to the end. Our journey starts at the wedding of Cana. We celebrate the good moments with the Lord. But then as we progress in our Christianity, we pass through trials and temptations. As Jesus did, rejection, abuses, and all the stuff. The climax of our journey as Christians is the cross. Death on the cross with the Lord. The problem, we want to conform ourselves into the current age, into the societal standards and morals, in a way that we no longer care about God as such. So, I'll advise those who feel pushed to the wall, can you unite your suffering with that of our Lord Jesus? And say, Jesus, you suffered and gave me a model, gave me a way, gave me the direction. I will conform myself to you, and I'll accept this as a portion in your own passion and suffering. And suddenly, He will give you enough grace to go through life, through the challenges and through the suffering that we are all going through. Otherwise, God is always with us and He loves us so deeply.
Wow. Thank you so much, Seminarian Cosmas.
Welcome.
Naona muda imeweza kuisha. Naona tumebakisha dakika kidogo hapa. Asante sana kwa mafunzo ambayo umeweza kutupa usiku wa leo. Najua ndugu msikilizaji umeweza kupata mawili matatu ambayo yatakusaidia. Na pia maybe kama ni ushauri, guidance and counseling, ama pia mafundisho hayo ungependa kuyapata, basi tupate kwenye nambari yetu ya simu 0713439596. Hapo utaweza kutupata katika ama kwenye ofisi zetu. Utatupata pale location zetu ambazo ni opposite Ushirika Secondary School, Dandora Estate, phase 4. Kwa hivyo ndugu msikilizaji, nazidi kukumbusha pia, kama uko nazo changamoto ambazo unapitia kwenye familia kuhusiana na uaminifu na kuhusiana na changamoto zingine, na ungependa tuziweke kwenye radio, tuzizungumzie kwenye social media site zetu, pia na kuomba kwa ujumbe wako, weza kututumia ujumbe wako na uweze kutuelezea mawili matatu kuhusu jinsi ungependa iwe, kwa maana tuko hapa kwa ajili yako. Na kushukuru pia kwa kuwa nasi usiku wa leo ambao umeweza kuwa na sisi tukiwa na Seminarian Cosmas Mutuko CSC ambaye tumekuwa na yeye. Kwa hivyo tuzidi kuwa waaminifu kwenye maisha yetu, kwenye talanta zetu, kwenye vipaji ambavyo Mungu ameweza kutujalia, na kwa yote ambaye Mungu ametujalia, ikiwa ni kazini, ikiwa ni kwenye society. Na kukumbusha ndugu msikilizaji ya kwamba ofisi zetu zimeweza kufunguliwa kuanzia Jumanne mpaka Ijumaa, kuanzia 8:30 mpaka 4:30 PM. Pia na kukumbusha misa zetu kwenye social media utazipata Jumanne, Alhamisi, na pia utaweza kuipata Ijumaa. Siku ya Alhamisi tunaanza na Holy Hour, alafu tunamalizia na misa. Pia kama ungependa ushauri kutoka kwa padri, utaweza kumpata kwenye ofisi Jumanne, na pia Alhamisi utaweza kumpata. Jina langu imekuwa ni Samuel Washira. Nimefurahi kuwa nawe, Seminarian Cosmas. Kwa hivyo tukutane wiki ijayo sana wakati kama wa leo hapa Radio Waumini 88. Kumbuka, kama familia tuzidi kusali pamoja ili tuweze kukaa na umoja kwenye familia. Familia inayosali pamoja huishi pamoja.
Umekuwa ukisikiliza ujumbe wa maisha ya familia yetu ukiletwa kwako na Holy Cross Family Ministries Dandora. Holy Cross Family Ministries wanawahimiza Wakristo kusali na kuishi pamoja katika familia kwa nguzo tatu, yaani imani, sala na ndoa takatifu. Kwa maelezo zaidi, wasiliana nasi kwa nambari 0713439596. Familia inayosali pamoja huishi pamoja.